afternoon. Today is Thursday, the 1st of May. My name is Tara Rochelle Applebee. I am doing a simulated roleplay assessment with a willing and able volunteer. This unit number is CHCGMB001, addressing problem gambling issues, diploma of alcohol and other drugs for Odyssey House. This is my willing participant. His name is Daniel Smith. He has filled out his consent form. I will send you a copy of it. So I just need to let you know that this session will be recorded, so I can send it in to be assessed to make sure that I am deemed competent for the unit code that I just stated. A copy will be held by Odyssey House, and it will be viewed by Odyssey House and the trainer and assessors to make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. You are here of your own volition, and I am not forcing you to be here. And I need to let you know that some of the things that we talk about in this session may be upsetting or may be triggering, so I just need to make sure that you are okay, and I need you to look at the camera and say your name and that you're okay with that.
My name is Daniel Smith, and yes, I understand.
So many willing participants for this. They just love it. Alright, we'll start in a second. Just a very quick disclaimer, I'm running out of willing participants to assist me with these role plays. So poor Dan has been a ring-in, and he's not very comfortable in front of the camera. So please forgive me if this is a bit choppy and changey. I'm doing my best, but it's a pretty complex scenario, and he's been ringing it at the last minute. So apologies, but let's go. Okay, let's begin. Hi Peter, my name's Tara Applebee. I'm one of the caseworkers here at XYZ House, Odyssey House. It's called Odyssey House. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Tara.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear it. So you've been referred to me by Samantha over at Lifeline. She sent a referral over to you. She mentioned that you're having some concerns and wanted to see if we could work with you and develop a plan to try and get you some assistance that you need. Can you tell me a little bit about what brought you here? I've been told that it's a gambling, you have concerns in regards to problem gambling, so can I just get you to elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, sort of started as just a little bit of fun, but I don't know, I've got a lot of money at the moment, and yeah, I think it's become a bit of an issue. And
yeah, okay. Well, that's fantastic. The first step is identifying that there is potential for problem, and sometimes the hardest step is to take is the first one. So I'm really appreciative that you came in today. So what we're going to do in our session today is I'm going to ask you some questions about your gambling. Please remember, there's not much you can say that'll shock me. Nothing really offends me. I'm very open and honest. The main thing is I need you to be open and honest with me, because I'm not going to judge you for anything that you say, but I do need some of the information that I'm asking you, and it might hit a little bit close to home, but some of the information that I'm asking you is just to make sure that we can, perform an assessment right and do everything that we can to facilitate you getting some assistance.
yeah.
Are you okay with all of that?
Yeah.
If you have any questions, if you want me to stop, if you need a break, if you need a breather, if you need to go out for a drink or something along those lines, please just say so. But as I said, there's no judgment here. We're just trying to work out the best way that we can potentially help you, okay?
Yeah.
No worries. So, in regards to what you tell me, everything that you tell me is kept confidential, unless you disclose something along the lines of, harm of a child, or if someone was at risk of harm, or you would my apologies. If you're at risk of harming yourself. So obviously we have safeguards, child protection, so on and so forth. However, any other thing that you say to me is kept strictly confidential unless I have to report it for whatever reason. Unless you ask me to tell anyone else. And what I'm going to get you to do is, I'm going to get you to sign this. And this is just basically to say that you're giving me authority to, if I refer you to someone else, like a financial counsellor, that you're giving me the authority to refer you, and I can update them on what we've discussed today.
Yeah.
Is that all okay?
Yep.
And I won't refer you to anyone without discussing with you first. I won't just give you a number and send you off. It'll be a warm referral. I'll make sure that you accept the referral, and then I'll give them a call, have a chat to them, maybe send a couple of emails back and forth, and then I'll also call them to make sure that you've attended. Okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. So can you tell me a little bit about, your history, like when you started gambling,
I got started pretty early, 14.
Yeah.
14, yeah. Started off, 4 or 5 times a week. Took up a fair bit of time, really, like
Yeah.
8 hours or so. And yeah, looking back, it's taken up a lot of me.
Don't know. Okay. And can I ask what you do for work at the moment?
A mechanic,
You're a real estate agent?
real estate agent, and a mechanic in my spare time.
You're a real estate agent, and do you have a partner?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And are they aware of?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And have they had any thoughts or?
Yeah. So even though I earn more than they do, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not fulfilling my end of it. It's a bit embarrassing. That even though she's earning less, she's really paying all the bills and everything.
Okay.
So it's causing a lot of stress and tension between us. Yeah, I mean, they try not to show it, but
Okay.
when all my money is supposed to be propping us up, then that's not.
Okay. All right. Just gonna have a quick pause. Sorry. Okay. So, can I ask, have you ever been to any other services before? Have you ever spoken to a financial counsellor, or
No.
was your first contact kind of with Lifeline and she referred you on to me?
Yeah, this is the first.
Okay, no worries. So you mentioned that you've got a significant amount of debt at the moment and that your partner's mainly paying the household bills, is that right?
Yeah, they're paying for everything pretty much.
Okay, alright, so that must be really stressful. I know that in a referral I got, Sam also mentioned that you've been feeling quite anxious, having trouble sleeping, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So obviously you've taken the first step and you've come to see me, and we're going to try and create a plan and give you all the support that you require. So I'm going to ask you a little bit about your gambling history, and as I said, this is not judgmental, I just kind of want to get a picture of what we're playing with here.
Mhm.
So can you tell me the ways in which you gamble historically and now, like what sort of gambling you do?
Yep. So mostly pokies and sports betting online and
Okay.
at CHCGMB, casino,
Okay.
cards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I deal with people from all different walks of life. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, just in regards to any other things that you do in regards to alcohol and other drugs. I generally find that sometimes mental health and AOD problems don't really come alone. They sometimes bring a friend. So do you partake in any drugs or any other?
I mean, just a few drinks socially and
Okay.
maybe a bit more at the casino. Yeah, but it's not like, 5 drinks or something.
Okay. In like one session, and do we do that every night or?
Yeah, like most nights.
Most nights, okay. So, do you find that anything about your gambling changes when you may be partaking in alcohol as well? I know casinos are quite liberal with their drinks.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, get a bit looser, I suppose.
Yeah.
Take more risk.
Okay, and you're finding that's a pattern, that
Yeah.
the more you drink, the more you bet?
Yeah.
Okay. So in regards to the circumstances right now, you mentioned that your partner's not very happy with the fact that they are basically supporting the household.
Yeah, I mean, I earn well more than they do. And they're paying for everything, pretty much.
Okay.
Got nothing.
Okay. As I said, this is not a way for me to try and shift blame or anything along those lines. I just want to kind of see what we're dealing with so I know best how to refer you. Do you owe any money other than, you mentioned credit cards, and I think you're talking about the range of $18,000.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere else that you...
No, just the credit cards and,
No bookies or anything like that?
no.
Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
definitely a plus. If we're looking at the positives, that's definitely a plus. And I think in your referral it mentioned that you're about a month behind on the
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah, we're behind on rent, but
Okay.
so far it's not.
It's not too bad.
Thanks.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you the questions. I'm going to ask you, what do you think? Like, what do you want to get out of this? Do you want to slow your gambling down? Is your goal abstinence and you just don't gamble at all? Or is it cutting back? You know, what are we kind of looking for here?
I think I need to completely stop.
Okay.
I mean, because like you tell yourself, you go there and you start, and I'm only going to spend this much, and then have a few drinks, and then you spend that much, and then at the end of the night you spend. So I don't think cutting back would work. There's always a reason to spend a little bit more. So I think I've got to start.
Completely stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask, do you ever find yourself playing catch up? Like you feel like, well, I've already lost, $300 or $400 tonight, so I've got to kind of put more in to chase that winning, like to kind of make that money up, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, it's like, it could just be the next, the next bet could clear it all up, but put me in the front, but it never happens.
Or if it
And
does,
then,
it's only minimally.
Yeah, and then you chase it again because you've got extra money, and
Okay. So our goal is that we want to obviously pay off or make an arrangement for the credit cards.
Yeah.
You said you earn a pretty good living.
Yeah, some 3 figures.
Yeah, okay. So that's impressive. You must be a very good real estate agent.
Yeah, well, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So at the moment, you're about, I think you said about a month behind on rent.
Yeah.
You've got your credit cards, but the good thing is, if we're looking at the positives, we're not, owing any money to any kind of dodgy people that are going to break your legs or anything along those lines.
Yeah.
Not this week, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, we're going to have a chat about a plan. You've never spoken to a financial counsellor before?
No.
Okay. I think that's probably a really good first step. I try and help every way that I can, but the fact of the matter is, if you're building a house, you don't get the same person to do the bricks and the plaster and the plumbing and the electricity and so on and so forth, and the landscaping. So I find with a lot of these behaviours are kind of complex. They're not just a one-size-fits-all. So therefore, as much as I want to be able to help and refer you wherever I possibly can, I can't do it all myself. So I have a team of people that I work with, that we refer to each other, like Sam referred you to me. And I think one of the first things we could do is to try and have a chat. My friend George is a financial counsellor. Sorry, not my friend, that wasn't very professional. A colleague of mine. I've got a colleague who works, a couple of offices away. His name's George. If you'd like, provided you're happy for me to do so, I can refer you to him. I have previously referred clients to him, and it doesn't cost anything, not a cent. Go in, they have a look at what you owe and who you owe it to, and then they can actually work as an advocate on your behalf with you.
Yep.
And, call if it's Amex or MasterCard and say, look, we understand that there's some arrears, what can we do to try and minimise, because I'm sure you don't want your credit rating or, you don't want any defaults on your credit rating and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think probably one of the first things we can start with is maybe having a look at a financial counsellor. Obviously we're going to address the gambling behaviour going forward.
Yeah.
But at the moment we still have kind of a bit of thing, like a few loose ends that we need to tie up to kind of, fix and move forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of stress on the relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said to me, it was really important that you came here because you don't want to lose your relationship with your partner.
Yeah, she's a...
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty much ready to go.
Okay, so absolutely, but at the moment you've got somewhere safe to stay, like you're living with her, you're still working,
Yeah,
still
off for
gainfully
the
employed.
time. Yeah, I can go back in a few weeks.
Yep, okay,
Just
and
that's it.
you've got means of transport and that kind of thing, and you have access to be able to call someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask, do you have any legal charges, any any court appearances that you need to be in? Like, have you got any sort of history of incarceration or anything? People checking up on you or anything pending legally? Because we have services for that if you needed assistance.
Yeah.
No, you're fine?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Alright, so we're going to have a little look now at the behaviours and why you gamble, and then we can dive a little bit more into that. So just give me one second. So before we get into talking about, how we're going to address, you mentioned that your goal is to abstain from gambling, to not only just cut it down, but to actually stop.
Yep.
And that's absolutely commendable. That being said, it's a big step, so it might not happen overnight.
Yeah.
But we've already made you a referral to see George in regards to potential debt repayment and financial hardship options and that kind of thing with your landlord and Visa and MasterCard and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So at the moment, you've told me that you're spending, kind of the $2,000, like basically your whole paycheck, like $2,000 a week between the casino and the online gambling and that kind of thing. Okay. So obviously, there's reasons why people gamble.
Yeah.
Can I ask a little bit about, your background and that kind of thing?
Parents were always arguing and getting in fights sometimes. Dad was a bit of a drinker and often, come home completely smashed and smelling and, not yet gambler as well. It's probably what they thought about mostly.
Okay.
So a lot online.
Yep.
So that was always a problem with them. And then Dad left and Mum had a part-time job and everything. And that got really hard. Just Mum, part-time job, trying to run the family and everything. Really disappointed Dad left.
Yep.
It just left us all.
And I think your referral mentions that you were pretty displaced growing up. Had to move quite a lot just due to
moving, like two times a year sometimes. Moving schools and everything was really hard.
And that was due to like getting evicted due to not being able to
pay
bills and that kind of thing.
Dad's gambling and that was always having to find somewhere else to do it.
Okay.
Get another job and move on.
Okay, that sounds really hard.
But
again, I'm really glad that you've come in and taken a referral from Sam, because I can see here that you genuinely, your partner means a lot to you, and you genuinely, want to make a change.
Yeah.
Even though this is behaviour that you've seen since you were young.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Start to see that you're doing exactly what your dad did.
Okay.
I don't want him to separate it. Put someone more through what I went through.
Well, as I said, sometimes the first step is the hardest, and we've already talked about a couple of different things. So I've given you a referral to George. He's our financial counsellor. The one thing that stuck out with what you were saying is you do a lot of stuff on your phone in regards to gambling.
Yep.
So is that like pokies online, TAB online?
Yeah, it's everywhere now. It's apps for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can imagine that's really hard, because look at us, we all walk around and we've got...
and it's so easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons I want to quit completely as well, because it's just too easy to just a little bit.
Okay. Have you ever heard of something called self-exclusion program?
No.
Okay, so there's different sorts of self-exclusion programs, but for people who identify that they have an issue with gambling and they're gambling too much and they need some assistance, you can actually speak to your local pub or club, wherever you go to, your local casino, and you can actually ask for them to not allow you to gamble. It's completely voluntary, it doesn't cost anything. But you can actually say, look, I need to make it, I can't let you let me in. So that is an option. However, sometimes I find that, it is a process, recovery is a process, and sometimes that's a little bit totalitarian. But one of the things that you can do as well is if you have a TAB online account or a Keno online account, so on and so forth, you can actually self-exclude yourself from those programs. So if you have a mobile and an email address, you can actually go into a part of that app, and you can basically say, don't let me have access to this. Because from what you're telling me, like a lot of your money goes to the fact that you don't have to go to a casino, you can literally just pull your phone out of your pocket.
Yeah, it's just too easy, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Because, like, yeah, if I've got to think about having to go out to do it, it'll make it,
Okay.
a lot harder.
Alright. So basically just reducing your access. So if you'd like to, by all means, like after we've finished hashing this out, we can have a look at your apps, but I know that I have definitely done it for clients before.
That'd be good.
You can actually shut it down. Even if you delete the app, you actually can't reinstate the app because you've got a driver's license that you need to
Well, that'd be good stuff.
use as identification, obviously to make sure you're over the age of 18, and you can self-exclude. Doesn't mean that you'll be able to self-exclude yourself from everything, because it only goes from bars and pubs, that sort of thing, but I think that might be a really good start.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, as I said, I'm not trying to be judgmental at all, but it seems like this gambling behaviour has been going on for a while, but it's something that your partner's only found out about recently.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I found that I don't know, I thought I was really good at school, with doing sports betting and everything, and I was just always good at it, so,
Okay.
so it's been going on for a while, yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing you probably had maybe not joint finances, and that's how you were managing to be able to kind of keep that.
Yeah,
bit on
like,
the down
I mean, it's pretty easy to hide when, all I have to do is transfer some money over to her and that she never sees it, but I don't even have the money to give her the papers. There's no escaping on that.
So obviously, you've said that abstinence is your goal, and you don't want to go any further. You don't want to lose your partner. I'm not going to tell you how to do your finances, but perhaps there might be a little bit of accountability if your partner had a bit more insight into your financial situation. Now, you mentioned you've been together for like 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
Maybe perhaps having a look at maybe a joint account or something like that, so
Yeah.
she's got more of an idea as to what's.
It's just, I think up to now it's been a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
But, well, it's out there. So, yeah. She'll be able to see what's going on. She knows it's bad anyway, like it's obvious now. So she'll be able to see that, she can, and then when I know that she can see everything that's going on, I think it'll be less likely for me to do it and then try and hide it, because there won't be any hiding it.
Okay. So, I mean, absolutely, there's a lot of shame around gambling. There's a lot of shame about drug use, there's a lot of shame about drinking. But at the end of the day, would you rather be, would you rather be a bit embarrassed, or would you rather lose your partner?
Well, I'm already embarrassed now. Like, it's whether I want it to be or not, it's happening.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
the only thing to do now is save what's left.
Okay. Alright. So, that being said, if we kind of put those things into play, do you think that would give you like a bit more of accountability, or?
Yeah. Because then I'm not just, like, I don't have to think, I've spent the money and she'll never know.
Yeah.
It does not like that.
Okay.
That'd be good.
I think that's a really good first step. I'm just going to pause this for a second. Okay. So, I mean, so far so good. Obviously it's a big step, and I can appreciate that, which is really good. I've given you also a referral for your partner to come in and have a chat with me, if she'd like to. Obviously everything you say to me is confidential, and the only person I would disclose that to is the referrals that we've spoken about before to Joe.
Yep.
I just want to ask you about your mental health at the moment and your mood, because you know, we've been talking for a while now, and I can see that you know, you're quite embarrassed and you're quite shameful. Can you tell me a little bit more about your mood and your mental health, and you know, how you're feeling at the moment, like mentally?
Just permanently depressed,
Okay.
permanently stressed. It's like, I mean, work's stressful.
Mhm.
You know, I thought I could escape that with gambling and drink, but it's making it worse. Motivation's down.
Okay.
Just, I'm really down, depressed. It's hard to get out of bed.
Okay.
Embarrassed. And this is everything that, I saw in the day. And getting over it a bit, but it's at myself really. Yeah.
So I suppose you can look at it this way, like you're showing behaviours that your dad exhibited when you were younger.
Yeah, I think that was what's really made me.
Realise that you need to
Yeah, I don't want to repeat what he did, and it's, the more I look at it, the more I see.
Okay.
And yeah, before it gets worse.
Absolutely. Look, I'm not going to downplay it. You know, it's a pretty serious situation. However, that being said, I think it is fantastic that you've realised this is kind of a slippery slope that I'm on, and I want to try and get off the ride before I just completely lose control. You know, you stated how important your partner is to you, you stated how important your job is to you, you're very good at your job and you really love it, and you've realised, you've basically watched your dad do the same thing, and you're basically putting your line in the sand with someone else's life.
Yeah, well, it's affecting everything. I'm on sick leave, so it's affecting work, it's affecting relationship, it's, with someone I didn't want to do.
Can I ask about your alcohol use? You mentioned that you do drink, you know, when you are gambling, things like casino and that kind of thing. And I know it's a very well known thing that they do pour quite strong drinks, and quite a lot of the time they do free drinks and that kind of thing. If you, for example, went home and didn't go to a casino after work, or didn't go to a bar after work, would you be drinking alcohol at home, or is it just something that mainly goes with?
Yeah, sometimes I am.
Okay.
Not as much.
Okay.
But
Okay, I think it might be worth, potentially, we might do a little bit of an assessment next time you come in and see me next Tuesday and talk about alcohol. Obviously I know you came here for gambling, but sometimes gambling, you know, brings a friend, or mental health brings a friend.
Yeah.
I just need to ask, are you safe? Are you, like, do you feel mentally, like, I understand that you're depressed and that you feel pretty guilty.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts of harming yourself?
No, or anyone. It's just, I mean, I feel really, really bad about myself. I've never hurt anyone else, I've never hurt myself.
Okay.
I don't,
Yeah.
I've got too much to lose.
Definitely somewhere really good to start. Okay, so today we've had a chat about, you know, what you're basically looking for, what your goal is abstinence. We've spoken about a couple of different solutions. I referred you to, what's his name? I can't remember. George, whatever. Referred you to George, and have some financial counselling. You've signed the document to say that I can chat to George about what we've spoken about today. Now we're going to, get your phone and see if you want to self-exclude.
Yep.
And that's something that you can also do with the casino as well.
Yeah.
So it's something we can talk about. Obviously Rome wasn't built in a day. It didn't take you overnight to develop, these habits that have turned into a bit of a problem. So I can't fix them kind of straight away, but the fact that you've come and we're, trying to make a plan is definitely a good start. So we're going to have a look at your phone now and do that stuff. If you're comfortable and think it's a good idea, absolutely, we can have a look at doing that.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we can get something started straight away. That I didn't realise it could be that easy.
Yeah, absolutely. The easy part is turning off the apps, but unfortunately the not easy part is making
Yeah.
that choice and then sticking with that choice.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to facilitate that. I've also, given you my details if your partner wants to come and have a chat, because we also do family and client counselling. Again, we won't share anything with her, but it's just giving her the opportunity to come in and have a chat. And I think, to be honest with you, I think that we probably need to have a chat about your mental health and also your alcohol use. And that's something that we can do a little bit later. I'm just worried that one ends up precipitating factor to the other. You drink because you gamble,
Yeah.
and you gamble because you drink.
Yeah.
So I think we might have a chat with that. We also have an AOD team. I obviously work in case management, but we also have an AOD team. So sometimes these things don't come, one thing at a time, and it's a multidisciplinary approach. So before we wrap up for the day, I want you to tell me, just so I can have a think about it from to our next discussion, what are some things that you like to do that don't involve gambling?
I used to like going bushwalks and getting out and just anything outside, beach, bushwalk. Yeah.
Okay. Some other things in your plans and some good things that you might like doing with your partner?
Camping, definitely.
Yeah.
Camping.
Yeah.
Don't do much sports, but yeah, I always like just getting out and about on day trips and
Okay.
yeah, feel like that more.
So what's, something that you could do instead of perhaps, going to the casino or going to the pub or pulling out your phone and playing like an online game? We're just going to pause this for a second. So I'm just going to get you to, go away and have a think about different ways you can spend your time. Obviously, you've told me you've dedicated a lot of time over the last couple of years to, sitting in pubs and clubs and that kind of thing. So by trying to minimise that and cut down on it, have you got an activity that may keep you busy?
Yeah, I mean I've had hobbies for
Yeah.
a while and they're getting a bit behind, so yeah, I've got miniatures I can put together and paint and
Yeah.
yeah, and that'll keep my mind off things. Yeah, I just got to get back into it. It was something I used to love doing, but
Okay. Miniatures, like little painting figurines and stuff. Okay. That definitely is something that can definitely take up a bit of time. So, okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. As I've discussed with you, I'm going to get you to sign the sheet. And we'll do that later. I've already sent it in. We'll get you to sign the sheet so I can give George. So I can give George the referral, and then you can have a chat with him. He's amazing. As I said, he's helped a lot of my clients, give them a call, advocate for them, and basically try and break it into a bit more manageable payments and kind of stop the harassing phone calls and that kind of thing. And I've given you a referral, I've given you my details if your partner wants to come and talk to me, or one of our other family and community counsellors. And okay, let's have a look and we'll see what we can do to self-exclude you from these online gambling apps.
awesome, thanks.
Sorry, that was a bit disjointed. Hopefully it was suitable. All done. See ya.